Welcome to another edition of ProSoft Technologies video training. During this training session, I'll walk you through our new and exciting and totally free ProSoft Wireless Designer software. The PWD software will help you design your wireless network, and when you're all finished with the design phase, it'll generate a complete bill of materials for your entire network. So based on that, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so I'm going to double click on ProSoft Wireless Designer, and here we have three options. We can design a new network, we can open an existing network from a previous configuration, or we can close this portion of it and go ahead and create our network freely. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Design a New Network. Now the first thing we'll do, we'll give our network a name. I'm going to call mine Network 1. Now here I'm going to choose Indoor or Outdoor for my application. I'm going to go ahead and choose Outdoors. Now, depending on your familiarity with ProSoft Technology radios, you may not be that familiar with some of these part numbers. No problem. If you're not familiar, then just go ahead and click I don't know. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click I don't know, and then I'm going to click Next. And then now what you should know is you should know the type of data you're passing. You should know whether you're passing Ethernet or serial data. I'm going to select Ethernet and go ahead and click Next. Now in this step, we need to determine what type of radios you need. So whether you need 802.11 technology or frequency hopping technology. 802.11 is the kind of technology that's used commonly in laptops and PCs and wireless broadband routers and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and choose yes to use 802.11 technology. And in this screen, you're going to choose the location where the radios will be installed. I'm going to choose United States and click Next. Now it's asking if you would like your network drawn to scale. I'm going to go ahead and select No and click Next. And the last screen here is a preliminary parts list. So I'm going to go ahead and click Finish. And once I click Finish, we'll get a message that pops up that's simply letting us know that these are estimates and that they may not be a true representation of what you actually see in the installation. So I'll click OK to close that message. And once I do, a new window will pop up to enter new site data. As we add radios to the network, we're going to refer to those as a site. So here we're going to give it a site name. I'm going to call mine Site 1. And in the field below, we need to enter the distance between the radio and the antenna in feet. If you use the metric system, then we'll talk a little bit later about changing those options to the metric system. So I'm going to go ahead and enter 50 feet for the distance between the radio and the antenna. And now the PWD software actually has the ability to import GPS coordinates in several different formats. So once you import the GPS coordinates for each site, once you draw a link between the sites, then it'll automatically generate the distance for those links. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And once I do, we see our Site 1 with our radio. So now what I'll do is I'll click on the New Radio button. I'll add my new site. We'll call this Site 2. And I'll give it a distance between the antenna and the radio. I'll specify 100 feet. Click OK. So now what I'll do, I'll click on the Link tool that will allow us to draw a link between our two radios. So I'll draw my link, I'll drag it over, enter in a distance of 5 for 5 miles. And I'll click on the Select tool and just arrange this a little bit. And what I can do now is I can double click on the link here. And once I double click on the link, it's going to pop open a window that's going to show me my signal strength, which looks poor right now. So what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll manipulate the antenna, and what we'll do is we'll change the antenna on one of the radios to increase that signal strength. So I'll click OK there, and I'll just double click on Site 1, and here we have all the options for Site 1. We see that the Yagi antenna was selected, so I could click on the antenna, and again it shows my Yagi was selected, the 15 dB Yagi. So what I can do is I can select a parabolic antenna, and I'll choose a 24 dB parabolic antenna, and then I'll click OK. And then we can go in and take a look at some of the other options. We can change our cable type. We can change our connector type. We can change the length of cable. And I'll click OK on this. And you see, once I made those changes, you see that the signal strength increased to minus 72 dBm. So our parts list are already generated. So now we can click on the parts list tab, and we see that we have parts lists for every one of our accessories, including the radios, the lightning suppression, everything to design a complete network or build a complete network. So now we can click on site details, and it shows the details for all of our parts. And then we can click on the link detail, and the link detail shows our signal strength. So now I can click on File, and you'll see that we have several different options for export. I can click on the Export Wizard, and now we can export it as a CSV file, which you can later import to Excel, a text file, and an XML file. I'm not going to export right now, so I'll click on Cancel. Now go back up to File, and then Export Network Details, and you see that we can export the site details with the same 3 file types. We'll go to Export again, and now we'll go to Export Parts List. And we also have the same 3 options for exporting the parts list. We can export it as a CSV file, a text file, or an XML file. I'm going to go ahead and save it as a CSV file for now. Now let's take a look at a few settings within PWD. We'll click on Edit, and then Settings. And now we see here's where we would change to use metric units. And we can also change some of the other network parameters, like we can change the radio, we can change the lightning suppressor within here, and we can change our antenna. We can also change the band, the frequency that the radio is using. We can change the cable length, and a bunch of other settings in here that we can change. For now, I'm going to go ahead and click on metric, and then click OK. And that about does it for this training session. If you have any questions about PWD or any ProSoft technology products, by all means give us a call and we'll be sure to answer any questions you may have. Until next time, happy training.